I'm pretty sure actually he just got shot. Gunfire. Then, a bit later, the sound of something heavier than rain dropping onto the cobblestone. Rudolph, I've always been able to see through your tricks. I knew it. The bullet Eva fired went straight into Rudolph's chest, because this fits various thoughts I earlier had I'm still not going to mention. The bullet Rudolph fired at Eva missed, landing near her feet. Guess I was right, this gun does shoot low. He dropped the gun into a puddle with a splash, staggered backwards and leaned against the wall of the chapel. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. All good westerns end with a bad guy's bullet missing. Eva dashed up to him, kicked away the gun that had fallen into a puddle, and grabbed Rudolph by the collar. What about George? Where is he? I won't let you kill him. Sorry, Aniki. Already got him. Liar. Did it in the bushes over there. Go take a look. You'll see soon. Rudolph, you... Eva, who claimed to know all of her little brother's tricks, also knew that Rudolph's final words, as his consciousness began to fade thanks to the bullet wound, were not a lie. How could you? George! George! An empty shell casing bounced off the cobblestone. The furious gun barrel was pressed against Rudolph's forehead. Go ahead and shoot. I doubt that'll bring you much peace, though. A bolt of lightning turned everything white. However, the wall of the chapel was stained blood red. A red splash, like a crushed tomato, came out from the back of Rudolph's head and covered the wall. Then, leaving a red trail behind him, Rudolph sagged downwards, sat on the ground, and fell over. George! 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 Eva dashed off towards the bushes. She found George's corpse almost immediately, screamed and broke down sobbing. Rudolph's bloody corpse was exposed to the rain that ran down off the eaves. His eyes were still wide open. A fist-sized flesh-covered hole was open in the back of his head, and his insides were exposed to the open air. Inside was a mixed jelly of flesh, brains, and spinal fluid. That goo, which looked like someone had mixed it up with a spoon, dripped from his eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and the hole in his head. Oh, that's a great way to end the chapter. Oh, it's not the end of the chapter. I see it's just switching to her, and probably was in such gruesome detail to, yeah. So we could understand her reaction. Dad! Ah! Angie clutched at her head, sobbing and moaning. Her father had dirtied his hands with murder over money, and on top of that he had faced such a cruel end, and Angie had been forced to see his corpse. It was hard to imagine a more painful experience for a daughter to go through. I'm totally fed up with this. It's completely meaningless. Bandcaster, son, I know you're here somewhere. Please make this game stop. There's no point to it. As if in answer to that yell, a black shadow appeared a few seats in front of them. Or perhaps he was sitting there the whole time. Maybe we just couldn't see her until we were aware of her. It was without a doubt the back of Bandcastle's head. Bandcastle, son. Pipe down back there. Can't you watch the show quietly? The witch turned around with bored eyes, as though the two people yelling were the strange ones. Please stop this. We realize that this is the sealed Catbox world of October 4th and 5th. The games are like messages, or maybe more like a roundabout love letter. A single message can be conveyed over several games, but now we understand. We know that endless tales can seep out of the sealed 2-day Catbox, and beyond that I even know the culprit and the motive. That has already been revealed, and it doesn't even have anything to do with this game. You both know the answer, that this is a Catbox tale, so there shouldn't be any need for any further games. If this is supposed to be a game between you and us, then we already know the answer. The game should be over. Just shut up already. Didn't you hear Ben tell you to be quiet? Another shadow appeared in the next seat over, turned around and scolded the pair. There is a point. If you just watch, you'll see it. Are you the game master? Not at all. Then who is it? Could it be Claire? If you watch, you'll see. I think I have an idea. Not much longer now. The tragedy has already reached its climax. Who'll survive, I wonder? Bandcastle isn't the game master? Then who is? Could Claire have created this cruel tale? Or are there even more witches playing around with this Catbox? The guest house was wrapped in silence. There were no sounds, no trace of anyone's presence. Well, I mean, there's the sound of rain. No breathing from anyone alive. There wasn't anything to be heard anymore. If anything could be heard, it was the sound of the murderer's feet stepping across the floor. She probably just knifed everybody in their sleep. Kyria slowly passed through the lounge. In her right hand was a gun. In her left hand was a knife. The knife was stained with blood and some was still dripping from the tip, leaving behind red tracks like a demon's footprints. Her hands were filled with tools of murder, so she wasn't capable of doing anything but murder. In that sense, at that moment, she was clearly and purely a murderer. The murderer went to the entrance hall, and then, only after reaching the front door, looked down to see the two blood-stained hands of a killer. Those hands gripped the tools of death that had performed a cruel massacre. Then at last the murderer realized that it wouldn't even be possible to open the door like this, and tossed aside the knife. Then the murderer reached out to the door, turned around calmly and spoke. "Sorry everyone, but don't worry. A few days later the newspapers will be talking about an unfortunate accident, and I'm sure the news shows, the papers and rumor mongers everywhere will be sure that you'll spend your time in happy ignorance until the instant of the accident. In other words, you'll all have had a good time until midnight on October 5th. So said the one who had stained that bloody guest house red. At this hour, the cousins are all staying up late and playing around, and the servants who have to get up early are all snoring. The ones on the late shift are probably filling in the log or taking a break about now. That's how it is. From where I am now, I can hear laughter coming from the cousin room." Humans outside the cat box would probably never understand what Kyria was saying. Only she, shut inside the cat box of the explosion accident, could know what it really meant. Outside, the rain poured down heavily. Kyria almost picked up an umbrella, but then stopped suddenly as if she just thought of something. Then she started walking out into the rain, not caring at all whether she got wet or not. Did the murderer not want an umbrella to get in the way of her gun? Or was she hoping that the rain could act as a shower to get the blood of her? Kyria stopped walking, as though something unexpected had caught her attention. However, this time it was no whim of hers. "How could you kill my husband?" "Oh, Ivan-san, that's surprising. How could I have missed you from that distance?" "I'm just as surprised. I didn't think I'd survive." "You came here from the underground stairway behind the chapel, right? In that case..." "That's right. I bumped into Rudolph in front of the chapel." "And how was he doing?" "Oh, just wonderful. We managed to have a friendly sibling chat for the first time in a while." "I see. He's such a show-off, but so unreliable in a tight spot. Looks like he can't do anything without me after all." After that short exchange of words, Kyria already knew that Rudolph had been killed. However, no trace of urgency or panic rose to her face. She just closed her eyes with her usual unconcerned expression, and when she opened them again, she had regained her composed smile. "Thank you. I'm grateful. This way I really can have everything to myself." "Where's that blood on your clothes? You just came out of the guest house, didn't you? Don't tell me." "Yes, that's right. I'm right in the middle of a murder case at the moment." "You killed them? All of them? Even Maria-chan?" "There was no need to let them live until morning. When morning came, there would be an uproar, and that could be a pain. They might have used a radio to contact someone of the island and gotten help, so this was clearly the optimal move to take. If you spin the chessboard around and look at it that way, right?" "Monster! I can't believe you could be so blinded by greed that you'd commit murder." "You weren't doing so bad yourself." I mean, got a point there. "That was an accident. I didn't mean to kill them. Unlike you." "No, just like me. If that gun hadn't gone off, you would have kept on arguing and jumping at each other. Then the rest of you would have eventually reached the same answer as me, just a few steps slower." "I'm not a murderer." "Not true. You're just a murderer who didn't get a chance. You've just been saved by that accidental discharge. If it weren't for that bit of good luck, and if I hadn't moved before you did, then you would have played the same role I'm playing now. That fact won't go away, no matter how much you try to deny it. It's the truth of a different future. Don't try and confuse me." However, on the inside, Eva understood. Back then, she had probably been saved by that accidental discharge, by a coincidence. If the argument had continued much longer, she would surely have grown a desire to kill Klaus and the others, and might even have carried it out. She simply could not deny the existence of that demon deep within her heart. Only the theatergoers knew. They knew that she could become a killer in another world. Kiryu, who didn't have the theater-going ability, knew this fact as well. Maybe there really was something extraordinary about her after all. So for some time, Eva could only grind her teeth in silence, still pointing her gun. I don't understand. You're also a mother. You've felt the pain of giving birth to your own child. How can you not know how precious a life is? How are you capable of doing all this? That's the thing about kids. If you just sleep around, they get maimed all by themselves. That's not what I'm talking about. They say that children are bonds, right? What? Children are bonds used to tie you to your husband. She was a bond to make Rudolph-san acknowledge me so I could take him back from that woman. Damn. But you've killed Rudolph-san now. You understand what that means, right? What do you mean, I understand? Just that right now, I'm the wife of no man, and I have no intention of being a mother. I am me. Kiryu. Now that Rudolph-san is dead, I'm not even an Oshirumiya anymore. I live to benefit me. Man, that must be wonderful for Angie to hear. Right, Rudolph is dead, so maybe you aren't a wife anymore, but you still have Angie-chan, don't you? You're still a mother, aren't you? Didn't you hear what I just said about bonds? Now that Rudolph-san is gone, Angie is of no use to me. You know, I think I take back that Rosa is not the mother of the year. Because I think we've just found an even worse mother of the year. How can any mother say that about her own daughter? Hey, Fanny-san, let's put a stop to this. We can be honest here. Honest? Did either of us marry because we wanted children? We didn't, right? We married because we wanted to live with the man we loved. And once you've married, you never want to let that man go for the rest of your life, correct? Children are just weapons to be used for that goal. Well, that is a very debatable opinion to have. I'd never have children for a reason like that. But people can have children for just that reason. They can have children for just that reason. Kira kept on speaking emotionlessly, ignoring the falling rain. Her relaxed smile didn't falter for an instant. Angie was just a chain I used to tie Rudolph-san to me. Or you could call her a chess piece, someone to play the role of the kid in our family drama. To me, Angie was nothing more than a piece, necessary so that I could act the part of the good mother in front of Rudolph-san. Could you say that to Angie-chan's face? That will be just a bit too sad, so I won't say it to her directly. I plan to write her a letter asking her to forgive her bad mother, then vanish from her life. You've seen what Rosa-san and Maria-chan are like, right? Now that Rudolph-san is gone, Angie's just a chain tying me down. I'll go back to being just Kiria, enjoy the rest of my life at my leisure. A new challenge and a new life. And maybe even a new love. And you call yourself human? You call yourself Angie-chan's mother? Who gives a damn about Angie? I've never liked that little brat. How can you... You've been released from your family drama too, haven't you? Let's sing the praises of a woman's freedom. You should thank me for having George killed for you too. You monster! The two yells and the sound of gunfire thundered across the dark rose garden. Slowly Eva fell backwards. Then she landed in a puddle, scattering countless drops of water. Across from her, Kiria spun around as though dancing. Beautiful black rose petals scattered around her. The petals were a dark red. As they sprayed from her throat, she spun around in a circle and slowly crumpled. I knew it. Still fits to what I'm expecting to happen. Then she fell to the ground, sending muddy water flying. The two women had shot and fallen. However, when the thunder roared, only Eva sat back up. Eva hadn't been shot. Kiri's intensity had made her fall backwards, but the bullet had once again slipped right past her. Eva cursed her good luck. Why couldn't this luck have saved her husband or her son? Die there for Angie's-san's sake as well. You'll be killed in the explosion accident. Until the moment of your death, you worried about the daughter you left behind. Yes, I'll write that into the lid of the cat box. When Kiria heard this, blood dripped from her grinning mouth, and she seemed to say something in response. However, her voice came out only as globs of blood from the hole in her throat, not with words. Mom, Mom, Mom. It's a lie. It's all a lie. Angie, please calm down. This is just a game. That couldn't possibly be what your mother truly feels. It's just something that the Game Master made on Curious P say. But saying that did nothing to calm Angie's sobs. I don't blame her. Even if she knows it's just a game, she's been forced to see not only her mother's death, but also her mother announcing that she was the culprit of a mass murder who didn't even love her own daughter. Anyone would sob after hearing that. Bandcaster-san, enough of this. I don't care who the Game Master is. Stop this pointless game right now. When Leon yelled this, the theater suddenly went pitch black, swallowed in darkness. However, that wasn't enough to shock Leon. Leon continued to yell Bandcaster's name into the darkness, telling the witch to stop this game. Then a single beam of light shone down upon the stage. There was Claire, the one who had appeared for just a second right before this cruel game began. Claire, so you were the Game Master after all? I don't get it, why? Claire didn't answer. In fact, it looked as though she hadn't even heard. Her eyes were blank and you couldn't tell what she was looking at. In fact, she was even forgetting to blink. She looked just like a doll. Then another beam of light lit up the side of the stage. Beneath that light stood Bandcaster. At the same moment, though, there appeared to be no one in the audience, a thunderous applause rang out. Bandcaster raised her right hand in response to the applause. She kept doing so until it died down. Bandcaster-san, so you were the master of this game after all? Leon, how many times do I have to fucking tell you that I'm not the Game Master? Then are you saying it's Claire? That's impossible. Yep, of course it's impossible. After all, Claire died. We were just conducting her funeral. Did you forget that? And just who is standing there? A corpse. She's not a mannequin. So of course she still has her insides. She's hiding it under a beautiful exterior, but she's actually packed full of guts. When Bandcaster raised her right hand, a light fell on it and a black shining scythe appeared there. It was a cold, merciless, and cruel object, like something a classic Grim Reaper might hold. What are you planning to do? When they're alive, you can enjoy watching them struggle. When they're dead, you can enjoy tearing out their guts. Tales are things you get to enjoy twice. That's what it means to be a witch of the outer going. Bandcaster pressed the blade of her Reaper's scythe against Claire's stomach and slowly slid it across. Then along the line she traced, Claire's dress was sliced open. It was now clear that the scythe she held was not a fake one for theatrical use. Yeah, I was wondering when Bandcaster would stop being nice again. I guess this is the point? And it was clear just what she planned to do next that made her cruel smile so fitting. Angie, can you hear me? I hear you. You tear me to bits, make me read. What's next? Are you showing me this worst possible tale to hurt me even more? Is this fun for you? Yeah, I'll bet it is. I had a blast too. You think that I'd give up after that? Do you think I'll sit around crying any longer because of that disgusting game of yours? Both you and Leon seem to have the wrong idea. I am not the Game Master. This tale is not one that I created. Then that woman in the dress is the Game Master? No, she isn't. That can't be. Then who is the Game Master? Like Scythe. Okay. Who wove this disgusting tale? You still don't understand? What don't we understand? Angie, you gambled everything on a faint chance of a miracle, throwing yourself forward. I invited you to October 4th and 5th of 1996 out of respect for your courage. What was your goal? To take your family back. That will be a very difficult thing, and without the blessing of a miracle, a thoroughly impossible one. You were prepared for that, weren't you? Yes, I'm prepared, and I still haven't given up on Unichan, Mom, and Dad. Whether you give up or not is your choice. That's your own game, after all. I won't support you, and I won't even watch. I've already enjoyed my fill of games that used the piece you are, so I have no need for you any longer. Glad to hear it. Then why am I here? Aren't you the one who invited me? Where's the music? Music? Hello? Oh, okay, thanks. Yes, that's right. I invited you here. To thank you for entertaining me for a while as my piece. To thank me? So this is how witches show gratitude. Sure, this has been loads of fun, you beast. How could you make this kind of game and do that to Dad and Mom? I don't think it actually bugged out, it just it was over and now it starts again. Angie, you made a wish hoping to take your family back. Also, hello. However, you also made another wish, remember? No, I don't. You wanted to know what happened on that day. What happened on Rokkenjima on October 4th and 5th, 1986? Didn't Angie leave on her journey with Amakusa because she longed to answer that question? That's right. So what's your point? You don't mean... Leon realized what Van Kessel was getting at, realized and was unable to say any more, so I'm probably right with what I started thinking a while ago. The Game Master is neither Van Kessel nor Claire. Then who is it? That's the wrong question. There is no Game Master. That could mean only one thing. Angie, you still don't understand? What? This is the truth. The insides of the cat box of October 4th and 5th, 1986. Afterwards, Eva survived the explosion by escaping to Kuadoria, and since she never spoke of the inside of the cat box, no matter how much she wanted to know, that truth was shut away in the cat box for all eternity. What are you saying? Only Eva returned alive. Even though the police claimed it was an accident, the public didn't believe it. Then she took over her husband's company, and the harder she worked to make it more and more successful, the more enemies she made. A public image of her as a great queen of conspiracy grew stronger and stronger. I'm sure she wanted to tell people about the truth that no one would ever believe without proof. Bit by bit, Eva's heart began to snap. You rejected Eva, so she rejected you in turn. The relationship between the last two members of your family was strained to the limit. Each time she compared you with her beloved son, she grew more and more twisted and broken. Then a strange message bottle was picked up and became a topic of conversation. It contained a bizarre story, one that told of a mysterious serial murder connected to Rokkenjima's gold. Everyone rejected the explosion accident theory and started to think of conspiracy theories. Some of those theories named Eva as the culprit, which tormented her even more. However, Eva used even that to build up the cat box. And until the moment of her death, she protected it. She protected the lock that held the cat box shut. So no human would ever reach the truth inside the cat box, not unless those witches who crossed the sea of fragments opened the lock. This is the truth. You're lying. You're lying. If this really is the truth, you should be able to say so in red. There's no way you can, of course there isn't. Angie, calm down. Angie writhed with such strength that the chains on her arms and legs looked like they might snap. All over her body, a red, gooey liquid started to seep out. It was as though cracks had opened up all over her and blood was leaking out of all of them. What's that? You want me to announce it clearly with the red truth? Then I'll say it just for you, that this is all true. Angie's yell covered her burnt red truth. Stupid kid. If only you hadn't made me say that, you could have shut it up inside the cat box. But you just had to ask, right? I knew you would, of course. And I so wanted to see you scream like that. A lovely expression like that should keep me laughing for about 100 years. Go back to being scrap meat. Mom, Dad, it's a lie, right? Lies. Angie? As Angie held her head and screamed, the blood dripping from her finally grew so thick that it started scattering all over the place. Then bit by bit her body began to melt, to fall apart. Then bits of her began to pile up on the chair until she was nothing but a pile of guts and scraps. Well, Leon will have great dreams tonight. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's such a great silver lining for her. Is the truth really that sacred? How absurd, how foolish. Why can't humans control their own truth? They stupidly search for the truth like that's all that matters, and when they finally find it and can't stand it, they turn themselves into scrap meat. Hey, are you watching, Claire? You wanted to hide this truth too, didn't you? For fun, you wrote several catbox tales and planned to seal them in message bottles like the end of a mystery novel you loved. Then you threw them into the sea, to save those who would suffer if they knew this truth. You sealed everything in the catbox and Eva provided the lock. And I've sliced that box open for you. All that effort you spent to hide it has gone to waste. I've exposed all of the truth you hid with your death. Is that what you've been after? You did all of this just to mock Claire's death? And then you showed it to Angie to make her suffer? You really were an evil witch after all. I have been a witch the whole time, a traveler whose only goal is to escape boredom, care for it and love it while it's alive, then eat the guts when it's dead. That's how witches live. I cannot forgive you for what you've done. You've hurt Angie and humiliated Claire, the person I would become in another world. I won't forgive you. Leon, you're still Claire's hope, even after her death. From the moment Claire got thrown off that cliff, her fate was already sealed. I'm sure she felt a little bit of salvation to know that none of her lives in happiness in another world. That's right, I'm her salvation, so I must live life to the fullest for the both of us. Leon, let me show you just a bit more of this tale of the truth. I'm not interested. No, it'll be very interesting. After the duel between Eva and Kyria, the guest house is wrapped in silence. Let me invite you to the parlor at that point in time. The parlor? The one in the mansion? Van Castle snapped her fingers, and the scene of the mansion's parlor unfolded before them. In the cruel tale that had just been shown, the parlor hadn't been particularly important. Jessica had been summoned to the parlor, but she was then immediately led to the dining hall and killed there. So there hadn't been anything to see in the parlor, and in fact there was nothing to see in the parlor now appearing before Leon. Just what's supposed to be here? As you can see, there is nothing here. But watch, I'm about to show you something interesting. If you call it interesting, that's a sure sign that it isn't. Go on, take a look. It's right there, right in that corner. Bancastle was pointing at nothing more than a quarter of the room. There was nothing there. She had told Leon to look there, so the latter was expecting something terrible to be there, but there really was nothing there at all. That's right, there's nothing there. At least, not in this world. But what if we peek into the next fragment over? On the white blank wall, bit by bit, a splash of blood seeped into view. Then right there, a corpse appeared. But that couldn't be. This is... me? It was Leon, lying dead against the wall. Oh no. Ushidomiya Leon's corpse lay there exposed. So even in his happy world, this ends the same way? What's going on here? Why am I here? This is supposed to be Claire's world, not mine. Claire and I can't exist at the same time, right? Yes, that's right. That's because I just switched worlds, switched fragments. Switched to your world, that is. I don't understand. It's very simple. They both end the same way. I don't get it. Why should I be dead here? In your world, on October 4th, 1986, Beatrice's funeral was held just before the family conference. Yes, I know that. And for me, that happened today, a short while ago. I wonder what will happen between that time and late that night. Nothing at all. The cousins will all play together and the whole family will have dinner together. Then comes the family conference after night falls. You were going to succeed the headship when you turned 20, right? Was the entire family satisfied with that, I wonder? I don't know if they were satisfied, but the decision had been made. The head made it himself. Looks like even you don't really believe they were satisfied. That's it right there. Kinzo adored you more than anything, so he tried to make an exception and have you succeed the headship directly. Of course, his children wouldn't have been happy with that. The siblings objected to having Leon succeed the headship. Even Klaus joined in, saying that Leon was still too young. Then, on the night of the family conference, Kinzo tried proposing a difficult riddle. Could it be? That's right, the riddle of the epitaph. As you can tell by the mechanism set into the chapel, Kinzo thought of the epitaph trick near the beginning when the mansion of Nrokkanjima was being built. He had the romantic idea of someday using it as a test to select a successor. Kinzo decided to present the riddle at the family conference. Did he plan to give the position of successor to the person who solved it? Or did he promise to reconsider Leon's position as the successor if it was solved? Either way, Kinzo was confident. He was confident that no one would be able to solve this tough riddle which he had created himself. After that, everything happened exactly like the truth you just saw. The siblings solved it right away, and there was a quarrel over the pile of gold. Then Kyria and Rudolph decided to prevent any chance of the crime being discovered the next morning, and an outcry being raised by committing murder late that night. They used the phone to call the kids out from the cousin room one by one, then killed them. Just one question I have. If in this fragment there is no Beatrice, then who explained the mechanism of the clock to them? As the first of the cousins, you were the first to be called out. Then Kyria shot you dead right here in the parlor. No, that's not quite right. You're the Yoshido Leon from the early evening of October 4th, 1986, so I'll say it this way. Tonight, Kyria will shoot you dead in the parlor. That's insane. That's right, probability. Just like Leon can be born from Clea thanks to a rare miracle, on Kyria only commits murder with a tiny probability close to 0. That must be it. Aren't you the witch who specializes in finding extremely improbable worlds? That is correct. I had to find one fragment out of 2,578,917 in order to discover the miracle that is you. However, it was very, very easy to find this result for your world. After all, probability isn't a factor. I'm a witch who can find any miracle, no matter how unlikely it is. But I can't find things that don't exist. If the witch of certainty really guarantees that something is certain, even I can't win against her. But then I'm... With the 2,578,916 out of 2,578,970 probability, you live in the world where you're Claire, get toyed with by an inescapable fate, and reach a tragic end. And with a 1 out of 2,578,917 probability, you live as Yoshido Leon and are killed by Kyria tonight. Kinzo, I guess. But I mean, yeah, true. Who does she learn that from? In other words, your fate, no, the fate the two of you share, traps you in an inescapable dead end, a hell of fate, with a 2,578,917 out of 2,578,917 probability. To put it another way, it's a certain fate with absolutely no chance for a miracle. Sucks for you, Claire. Or should I say, Beatrice. Just when the bright lights seemed to turn the world wide, the scene suddenly changed back to the theater. On the stage, Bernkastel's Reaper scythe slid across Claire's stomach as the latter stood absolutely still. A red line was drawn across the white skin, exposed now that the dress had been cut and black blood began to seep out. Beatrice, trapped in that inescapable, certain locked-away pair of days, you became a witch who could give birth to endless possibilities within that 2-day cat box. In exchange, it was absolutely certain that you would not be saved or rewarded. However, you had a dream. You dreamed of Yoshido Leon. You consoled yourself with the thought of a miracle world where you could have lived in happiness without ever becoming Claire. I had to work hard to find Leon. Just as Beato dreamed, Leon's existence is a true miracle, and at the end of your funeral I wanted to show you. To show you that even with that miracle you couldn't have escaped from tragedy. Through the small crack between the bars of the jail that imprisoned her, the witch called Beatrice dreamed of a world where she might have been happy. However, the space she could see through that crack in the bars was just another part of the same jail. The more I hear, the less I understand about you. Why would you do something like this? I lost the game to Beatrice, so I wanted to get back at her. Yeah, now I feel a lot better about losing that game. Hey Beato, are you watching? Can you see this? And do you remember? Remember when I promised you that a miracle wouldn't occur with certainty? So Leon, allow me to return you to your world right before Beato's eyes. It looks like the theater-going witches are all sick and tired of those happy family get-together scenes. So I'll send you to the moment just before Kyria shoots you. Then I'll make Beato watch that moment. Die, scum Leon. The last hope of that scum Beato. Bernkastel raised her Reaper scythe, swung it down with gusto, and plunged it deep into Claire's stomach. Did you think you'd get an easy death? But humiliating and tearing out a corpse's guts is my specialty. She took the blade end of the scythe and heartlessly, ruthlessly, brutally raised it up into the air, along a vertical line from Claire's stomach to her chest. The blade cut deeply, slicing Claire open. The red-black insides jutted out and burst like a dam breaking, covering the world with dark red entrails. Steal your Italian's gold, you say? You coward, uccido mia. And you call yourself a soldier of the Empire? Father? I do love and respect you, Father. But your feelings are something I Why? Why did you save me? Why didn't you let me die? Because of that terrible injury, I've been forced to live in a body like this. I never wanted to live in a body like this. This body that isn't even capable of love. What's the point in living like that? This isn't a human's life. It's like being furniture. That's right, I'm furniture. Furniture. Why didn't you let me die back then? Huh? When I came to, I was in the parlor of the mansion. When did I get here? I heard a sound behind me, then slowly turned around, and there... Sorry, please don't take this personally. Huh? I could see down the frigid barrel of the gun on Kiria was pointing. Then, she slowly pulled the trigger. I could feel a razor-sharp wind pass through my body, like a knife slicing through butter. Prepared for death and hoping to see my fate until the end, I slowly opened my eyes. The world had been cut in two. Kiria was frozen in place like a statue, still pointing her gun with a cold smile on her face, and had been cut in half at an angle, the top part of her slowly sliding off to the side. What is this? Typical anime sword duel? No, that wasn't quite right. That wasn't right at all. It wasn't just Kiria. The whole world had been sliced in half at an angle and was slowly sliding off to one side. Then immediately after fissures seemed to appear across the world, it shattered. I'm sorry, what? You! When you own a cat, you tend to pick up their habits. He pointed at Bancastle with the tip of the pitch-black sword that had sliced the world, glaring at her. What's this? Are you saying you came back here on a whim? There was no way you'd end things on a happy note. Do you really hate Beatrice so much? You think I'd let her win and get away? I have to pay her back in full for the humiliation she caused me. When I hold a grudge, a mere century isn't long enough for me to forget it. You're a gloomy person. Come on, you mustn't neglect my heart. Are you okay, Leon? Hey, what's wrong? Leon had suddenly doubled over, groaning. My chest hurts. It's... Will roughly grabbed the hand that was pressed against Leon's chest and tore it away. Blood was seeping out from where Leon's hand had been. It was the place that the bullet would have entered if Kiria had shot Leon. Looks like Leon's body is almost ready to accept its fate. Leon, hang in there. Damn these chains. When Will tried to pick Leon's body up, he finally noticed the chains attached to each wrist and ankle. What's this? Are you trying to take that kid and escape? I won't let you. I'm about to let everyone watch as Leon coughs up blood, despairing at the fact that there is no hope in any of the many worlds, before finally dying in agony. Leon isn't a show. Will swung his pitch-black sword and destroyed the chains binding Leon. The chains and shackles shattered into little bits like glass, then vanished. You intend to get in the way of my fun? You aren't God. All you can do is sneer at fate. Leon's fate is going to be decided by Leon. You can't treat a human's fate like a toy. You've got guts saying that to the Great Bancastle, Witch of the Senate. I have no more use for you either, get it? You've shown that Beatrice's fantasy is a mystery and cut it to pieces. You fulfilled your role. I would have let you be if only you just left quietly. Now that you've strolled back in here, you can hardly complain if I make you my plaything. Come to me, my cute kitties. Scratch them up and tear off their skin. Peel them like grapes. When Bancastle clapped her hands twice, countless pairs of glaring jewels appeared all around Will and Leon. They were clearly cat eyes, but the way the drool hung from their mouths looked far more terrifying than any cat. Well, I'll handle this. Trimming kitty nails is nothing new to me. The number of jewels surrounding them already reached into the thousands. Will pointed his sword in one direction after another, warding off the surrounding cats. Get a grip, Leon. You haven't been shot. Don't acknowledge that you have been. Know that you're going to be shot. Leon tried to fight in incredible tearing pain. No, it was a fight against the promised future that Bancastle had shown. However, the stake of that future, which the Witch of Miracles had guaranteed would contain no miracle, was firm and merciless. Bit by bit, and yet unceasingly, it continued to pierce into Leon's chest. Listen up. I'm going to break through the perimeter for just a second. When I do, you need to run with all you've got. It doesn't matter where. Just make sure you get far away from this place and keep on running no matter what happens. I'll try to the best of my ability. If I can't do it, please forgive me. If you can't do it, enough whining. I won't forgive you. Neither will Claire. Did you forget that you're Claire's 1 in 2,578,907 chance? If you give up, you're betraying all the other yous in countless worlds. So don't lose heart. Keep on struggling and struggling. Don't look for a miracle. Be one. Be a miracle. You're going to reach a happy future. Don't give up. Don't complain. Just you trying complaining again. This time I'll pinch your ass. I'll pinch your ass. Okay. How very confident you are telling this kid to be a miracle when you stand before the Witch of Miracles. Miracles are no more than fantasy. Revel in this world that has been convicted as a mystery and die horribly like a war. The witches of the Undergoing are looking forward to watching it. Huh, you call that mystery? You think I'd ever accept a mystery without heart? Let the cat who wants to be made into a shamisen strike first. Oh, what a pain. Let's have all of you at once. I'm Willard H. Wright, SSBD's head Inquisitor of Heresy. This will be the final time I draw my sword. Trash him, kiddies. At once, all of the cat eyes opened wide, undulating and spinning in a spiral, then swallowed Will up. But Will and Leon weren't swallowed up. The cat that had flown in at them from all directions were now being launched away like they were a balloon popping around the pair. Oh, not bad. I don't give a damn about you kiddies. It's just the mama cat I care about. Bancastle, Witch of Miracles. It's about time someone trimmed your claws. Another flash of the black blade spun in a dark tornado and scattered the cats once more. Leon, realizing that this was the opening Will had planned, ran all out, still clutching at a heaving chest. Well, I'm running. Deanna has a weak stomach. Make sure you only give her milk that's warm. Huh? By the time Leon asked Will to repeat what he had said, he had already left onto the stage and was now confronting Bancastle. It was like the climax of a show. Loud cheers erupted from the pitch-black audience seating. On either side of Claire, who lay with her insides exposed, stood Will with his pitch-black sword, and Bancastle with a scythe that could harvest miracles from fate. Kiri and Rudolph are the culprits, and they massacred the people on the island. They called Leon out to the parlor, then shot Leon to death. Sorry, but I can't acknowledge this truth of yours as a mystery. This is all fantasy. Fantasy? You're calling it that to try and let Leon escape fate? By all means, try. Rule number 1. It is forbidden to have a crime without all clues presented. Surely Will's black sword must have cut through Bancastle's body. However, it had no effect, like cutting the reflection of the moon on the water. What's this? What do you mean by clues? I won't accept your mystery with Kiri and Rudolph as the culprits. You won't find clues showing that they're the culprits no matter which game you look at. Of course you won't. Even if they did exist at one point. The whole island blew up. Which means there aren't any clues. And that means this is no mystery. It's fantasy. Huh? It's impossible for an unprovable truth to become truth in the human world. In other words, even the extra truth cannot cross the boundary of a cat box. Are you trying to shut the truth inside the cat box? Is this how the mystery genre is supposed to fight? With a laugh like the howl of a wild animal, Bancastle carelessly tossed her scythe aside. Fighting itself is a waste of time. Get over here, scum. Try and cut me all you like. I'll listen to all you've got to say. The 20 wedges will pierce every part of your heartless mystery. Here it comes. And when you realize that you can't defeat me with those 20 wedges, you know what'll happen next, right? Come on, I'll play with you if that's what you want. I fucking knew it. Well, that was certainly a ride. Aaron, do you know how long the question mark part is? Is it long or short? Because it's not 11 yet. But if it's long, then I won't start it. If it's long, I will stop early today. If it's short, I will still do it. Should be short enough, okay. I mean, you said that once about something else, and then it lasted like 20 hours. But okay, we'll do it. But that was certainly quite the ending. That was perfect timing with fading out and the choir. Hold on, this is not even over yet. Trying to ignore an incredible pain in the chest, Leon kept on running and running without stopping. I dashed out of the theater going witches, then ran through an incomprehensible world of blackness. Before I knew it, I was running through a place that looked like a sea of stars, or maybe the bottom of the ocean with stars scattered around. If I get careless for a second, I'll probably trip. No, if I get careless, I won't be able to tell if I'm running. Or just making running motions as I free fall, endlessly sinking deeper into the ocean of stars. I just kept on running without any goal or target. I mustn't stop moving. I mustn't fall down here. If I fall, I crush the hope of the me's and countless worlds. There's a happy world that the Beatrices dreamed of, and I'm their last hope, the only one who can reach that world. Even though I understand this, the truth thrust in front of me by the witch who controls miracles, who says there can be no miracle, is cruelly gouging itself into my chest. Sorry, Will. My body's already... Then Leon finally succumbed to the fierce pain and fate and fell over. Leon's body was held roughly from behind and lifted up. Will? You're okay. No, not really. Don't you give up. Didn't I tell you I'd pinch your ass? Sorry, I'm really sorry, but on that day, in that place, I was fated to be killed. That's right. All humans are fated to die in the end. Does that mean their lives are meaningless? Of course not. What a person's life means, what it's worth, what it is, these are things each person decides for themselves. No matter what sort of fate is forced upon them, don't accept it. Create your own world for yourself. Well, your left arm. Oh, right, must have forgotten it. It'll be a pain to go back and get it now. There were rips all over Will's body. Also, his left arm had been brutally torn off from the elbow, his clothes were in tatters, and he looked like a bloodstained scarecrow. Then Leon noticed. Though this place had once felt like a sea filled with stars both above and below them, those stars had now gathered together and were surrounding them. It was a huge, even number of stars, all glaring at the two of them. Will was holding Leon with one arm. He couldn't take his sword out. However, he didn't let go. He was determined to let Leon escape from here, to lead Leon towards the happy tale that the Beatrices had dreamed of. Behind the cats whose eyes glowed out of the empty darkness, the queen of cats who permitted no miracles appeared. Willard, put Leon down. If you do, I'll let you go. Go file a protest with a great cord. You can put it up for debate. Well, Protest. I won't leave you behind. I need to tell you why I quit SSBT. Come to think of it, even I don't know that. Why did you do it? It's because I got fed up with all those damn sob-story mysteries. We'll survive and reach a happy ending. I'll show her. Beatrice died in despair, thinking that there were only bad endings. I'll show her that a happy ending can exist. That's why I'll never put you down. Well... You can take the rest of my left arm, cats. I'll give you my legs too if you want them. But I'm not letting go of Leon here. I'll take Leon away from the bad ending you represent, even if I have to crawl my way out of here. Are you okay with this, Leon? Will's planning to die protecting you. You don't want that, right? Go ahead and tell him to leave you be and save himself. Well... Yeah. Please don't leave me here. I'll certainly survive, and so will you. That's the spirit. As he said this, Will held Leon tight. There you have it. We'll keep struggling on, Bernkastel. We won't give up on the chance of a miracle. You're saying that when the Witch of Miracles has promised with certainty that there will be no miracles. So long, you two. Go collect dust in the depths of oblivion, unable even to die and disappear. Come, my kitties. I won't order you to kill them. Just clean up the two pieces whose role has ended. 100 million, a trillion, 10 quadrillion cats all bare their fangs. In the starry sky of cat eyes, countless flesh-colored mouths opened, exposing countless teeth. The world was wrapped in flesh and blood and fangs. Oh, so that's how we're gonna stop this. Alright, I'm gonna start this, but if it goes beyond 11, I will probably stop. Even if it's in the middle of something. Let's see. Two white pieces were set on the chessboard. The countless black pieces surrounding them were now just packed together, not even placed on the squares. Barncastle tipped the two white pieces over and took them off the board. Is it really okay to end it like this? Yes. Yes, as usual, your reading truly does fall comfortably on my ears, my Miko. As you wished, I've scraped out even the inner parts of the guts. Was that enough of an answer check for you? Indeed. I am quite satisfied. Using the answer you have revealed as a key, I will go back through all the tales so far, opening the closed rooms like treasure boxes, one by one. It's fun finding the key, and it's even more fun to stick it into all the locks. You have done very well, my Miko. From now on, let me enjoy my thoughts alone. This has been enough. The Witch of the Theater-going sat back in her rocking chair, a satisfied smile on her face, as though enjoying a pleasant aftertaste. There was no need for a game board anymore. She just had to go back in her mind through the whole set of tales to check whether her theory was right or not. It seemed to leave her pleasantly drunk, even better than the most expensive wine. Are you done with me now? You have done well, my Miko. I absolve you of your duty. I will return to my slumber. I'd like to enjoy this pleasant dream for a few more centuries. And when I grow tired of that, you will find yet another tale to keep me entertained. For those centuries which will pass in the blink of an eye, I grant you your freedom. Splendidly done, Barncastle, my cute Miko. It's not like I care. Go ahead, dry up and die. So long for the rest of time. You call a few mere centuries for the rest of time? Featherine's consciousness slowly faded away. As the owner of the study's slumber grew deeper, the lights about the room slowly darkened. Good night forever. You don't need this game board anymore. I'll take it. Barncastle reached out towards Beato's game board, which lay on the table in front of Featherine's rocking chair, and tapped it twice. The game board and the pieces flew into the air, folded up, and put themselves away, then landed on Barncastle's outstretched right hand. I still haven't had a chance to do any real game mastering. I just did Beato's funeral. That and tearing out the guts. I still haven't done anything. Barncastle's smile twisted evilly. Then the game board floated up once again, and a world unfolded itself above Barncastle's palm. Hey, pieces of Beato's game. I'm gonna have you spin an incredibly brutal tale that I'll find incredibly entertaining, tremble in fear of the certain fate you've been promised. By the name of Barncastle, Witch of Miracles, and as the final game master of Beato's game, I proclaim it. Though just saying it would be boring. Maybe I should follow Beato's rules and say it in red. Are you sure? There might still be some witches with naive hopes. Oh, Lambda, so you're here? Of course, you're always wherever I am. Go on and say it. You tell those naive dreamers. Yes, I will. As the Witch of Miracles and as the final game master, I proclaim the start of the final game and make you this promise. I won't give this game a happy ending. Well. Uh-oh. You mistook the length of it, so maybe it's even longer or shorter. A single girl was crying in a desolate, quiet chapel. She was a small girl, only 6 years old. The girl who would, for 12 years starting now, lament the fact that she wasn't on this island during October 4th and 5th, 1986. So Angie. Then a single man appeared. The man noticed the girl, walked up to her quietly, trying not to scare her, and put his arms gently around her shoulders. Oni-chan. I've been looking for you, Angie. The girl jumped into her big brother's chest and started crying again. What's wrong? Why are you so sad? Today a kid in class bullied me. He said that people on TV were saying Mom had ties to bad people. So he said that Mom and Dad were the culprits and that they probably killed everyone. I asked Aunt Eva, hoping she'd say it wasn't true, but she didn't say anything. Mom and Dad aren't bad people, right? Right? Poor kid. Everyone keeps saying whatever they like about what might have happened on that island on that day. Sit over here. Okay. When the man pointed to the floor, a cloud of gold butterflies gathered there and created a chair. The girl obediently sat down on it. You know, don't you, Oni-chan? You know that Mom and Dad aren't bad people, right? Yeah, of course I know that. I know that none of them were bad people. Then tell me, what happened that day? What happened on Rokkenjima? Okay, I'll tell you. This is what happened on that day. Is it a scary story? Of course not. Is it a sad story? Not at all. Then what kind of story is it? You can decide that for yourself when you hear it. It definitely isn't a painful story, so listen up. Okay, Battle Oni-chan? On that day we all went to Rokkenjima. There were a lot of us. It was an important day, the day of the family conference. Where should I begin? This is the final game made just for Angie. Listen, Angie, this is what happened on Rokkenjima on that day. It isn't sad or painful at all. Okay. So that was shorter than I thought. Well then. That means we will be able to start episode 8. But I'm not going to do that today anymore, even though it's not 11 yet, but I don't know, it would feel wrong to jump into that now. So we can have a fresh start next time. And I don't even know what to believe anymore at this point. I mean, I guess that's been the case all the time, but even more so now. Alright, so yeah. But yeah, this definitely throws some new questions in there. Was it really Shannon who killed all of them? Or did it really happen like this, that Shannon actually got killed very early and never got the chance, and all the murders after that got carried out by Kiri and Rudolph? Who knows? Well, we will know soon enough, but not today. What I find interesting also is that we didn't learn what happened to Battler. Like, before he could meet with Rudolph, Rudolph got blamed by Eva. So, Oh, there's still the tips, right? If there are... If there are some tips to read. Achievement unlocked, brother and sister. I guess I could have a look at those. Oh. Would you look at that? I assume that is Willard and Leon. Yeah, let's have a look at that and then call it a day. Okay, I guess I can. Can I execute anybody here? Oh, that's interesting. If I execute him... Ushidomiya Kinzo, the man who will eventually become the final head of the Ushidomiya family, spent half of his life living lethargically as a human puppet. Because of this, his mental age remains young and does not grow. Thanks to the fascination with the West that he has held since he was a young boy, he is very proficient with the English language. Anyone else I can murder and get interesting things? I think I tried Leon already. Seriously though. Oh shit, I forgot where it was. I think this is the right order. Well, in that case, you can execute me all you want. Once I turn, like, I don't know. Did we read this? Oh, I think we did. Yeah. There's nothing new here. Oh, there's only this. I'll try resurrecting Claire. Hold on. SSVD, one of the repentance enforcement agencies under the direct supervision of the Great Court of Heaven, responsible for the 8th District. It has a long history even among the other enforcement agencies, and is known for its strict and fundamentalist attitude. Many say that they do not keep up with the times, but they are also highly praised by some for continuing to preserve the basis of the law's spirit to this very day. It is traditional for their head Inquisitor Pharisee to inherit the name right. I read this before? Oh well, then we just got a refresher. Because I actually forgot. No, I cannot resurrect her. I guess there's not really anything tipsy in there, huh? In that case, that's it.